Before a ball was even kicked, you predicted an 8th place finish this season, whereas I stuck with my stance from last season going into this season that I needed to see improvement in the first 10 games. I've noticed in the Webby and O'Neill community that feel-good factor is back around Manchester United. Get involved with your own opinions and any questions in the live chat. And if you are joining us later on, make sure you get involved in that comment section and smash that like button. I hope there's going to be no flip-flopping from you today, making different predictions from the start of the season.
Well, I'm not flip-flopping. Listen, I took lots, and I mean lots of criticism when I came out with 8th. That's where I thought United had finished. Look, football's about opinions. Like football on the pitch, results change everything. But I'm not changing my my stance on 8th. Nothing has changed it. Yes, we've only 9 games gone. So I'm not changing, and I don't see any reason why I should at this moment.
I can see lots of reasons. I mean, start getting involved with your opinions in that live chat and trying to make my dad Tony change his opinion from that 8th place prediction. Look, like I say, I kept with my stance from last season that I needed to see that improvement from Amorim and the squad here at Manchester United in them first 10 games. I'm going to move the goalpost slightly, because I did think it was going to be 10 games up until that November international break, which it turns out it's actually 11 after we've played Spurs. But up to now, the fixtures and the results that we've had in October, I've seen improvement. A minimum of 4 points out of the next 2 games, I would still class that as improvement in my eyes.
Look, I go back to last season where we finished, right? The squad was a good squad. It should never have finished there. So based on that, I looked at it, 8th. That's a great improvement as far as I'm concerned. And that's with all the carnage and chaos, what's going on behind the scenes. That seems to have settled down. But I do look at it and I say to myself, yes, it's a good squad, but is it a strong squad? I don't believe it's a strong squad. I think if after about the 2nd, 3rd substitute, what comes on, we are lacking. And this Premier League, it does take a lot out here. So I think we're going to get some shocks, some surprises going along. And I'm waiting for that Forest game. The Forest game sort of worries me slightly. These are the type of games where you think everything's going great. The optimism is there from everybody. And I think to myself, could this give us a kick in? I want to get through that Forest game. I want to get through that Tottenham game. Then I might look at it and say, hey, do you know what? We're all together. My eyes tell me the players are all together. They're all battling together. But 8th is my target. I'm sticking with it. And I think it's a reasonable target. People were thinking at the beginning of the season, 5th. I tell you what, after the first month, they soon changed their mind. They were saying, well, God, we're going to finish 15th, 16th. So football, it's mad.
You're looking around the table and you're looking at even recent results of last weekend, you know, Chelsea and Man City in particular, and Liverpool, I might add. There's not really any standout team out there. I know Arsenal are top of the league, but they don't jump out and scream at me that they're definitely going to win the league. I mean, there's not really much momentum apart from their results out there in the table. So why can't Manchester United finish higher than 8th?
Well, I look at it, it's early on in the season. It's 9 games we've played, 10 coming up with Forest. And I look at the other teams. Yes, there's some strange results in that, but it feels to me as though it's like a stop-start season. And we've got another international break coming up. So I think there is strange results. We do get them now and then, but we seem to be getting quite a lot at the moment. There's 1 or 2 teams not, especially like when you look at Liverpool, City, strange result. Weekend, Chelsea, strange result. That's going to happen. And until you get to Christmas over this international break, I think then you can look at it. From my opinion, I look at it and think I might change my mind if we carry on this run, because the optimism, the way the club is, the feel of it, the feel of the players and everything, I think to myself, I think it's reasonable. I do think it's reasonable based on last year and the carnage what we had. I still expect carnage. This is Manchester United, and it doesn't change. In a couple of months? You expect it to change in a couple of months? Everything. There's a lot of hard work to go. The men in suits, especially, have still got a big job to do. And these players, will it last?
Let us know if you think it'll last, but I'm sensing and feeling that feel-good factor in the live chat. I'm going to get a couple of comments ringed off as well. Gary Goff says, top 4 easy. Dan Fenton says top 4 is definitely on if we carry on the way we're playing. Gricker as well from our members club says, my predictions have not changed. I said I believe United will get into Europe. Just did not expect we'd struggle so much initially and then bounce back so strong. Last half a dozen of games or so from the gloom. But he is hoping Ross Hugh as well he's getting involved with his opinions, very positive as well. Graham says, European football has to be the aim this season. That's what Manchester United thrives on. I agree with that one, my mate.
I think most people's opinions from the first game when we played Arsenal thought, wow, here we go. Here's the team. I didn't see this last year. And I think people thought, yes, we got beat. We know that. But you're playing Arsenal, potential champions. And I thought, great performance. They all work for each other and everything. And people's opinions were out there saying top 4. And I can't knock that. I looked at it myself and thought, do you know what? They carry on like this, it'll be good. But we've had a few knockbacks from then. And now everyone's feeling the feel-good factor. And I do agree, based on what you're seeing now, the last few games and that, you've got to say to yourself, carry on this form. There's definitely a top 4 place without a shadow of a doubt. But I don't expect this form to carry on.
Why not when we've played the teams that we have already this season? We've played Arsenal, we've played City, we've played Liverpool, we've played Chelsea. They're all out of the way now. After the first 9 games last season, we totaled 11 points, whereas the first 9 games this season, we've totaled 16. That's an improvement in itself, and you consider the teams that we've already played.
Well, at this moment, it feels like a dream to carry on playing like this and getting results. Okay, this is a long season and it's a tough season, and I don't think it's a strong enough squad to actually perform like we've been performing at the moment to carry it on. I just don't see it. Some people might say, "Oh, you're boring, you're talking rubbish and that," but I don't. I think it's a thin squad, but a good squad, and I don't think it'll be able to last. Maybe there might be people coming in January, which, you know, I always say I can't see that happening, but you just never know, to strengthen the squad to take us through. But if this continues, I'm not arguing with anyone out there. If we beat Forest and we beat Tottenham, I'll tell you what, I think I'll be the first on straight after that Tottenham if we beat them and saying, hey, I think we'll get Europe without a shadow of a doubt. I've changed my mind. But right now, 9 games, yes, I'm happy with what we're doing, but I still think 8.
AF Training says, keep pressing the like, folks. Doing my job there, my mate. Much appreciated if you can smash that like button. Steve says, game by game, Tony.
Yeah, I understand the game by game. So predictions, when you go game by game, go out the window. I just look at everything around the club. And like you say, game by game, I look at the standards. The standards are improving. But I'm not naive to say it's all fixed. And I think people out there to think it's all fixed is naive. It's not going to be smooth sailing going forward. There is going to be hiccups. And I keep referring to there will be carnage. There will be some pain. So for me, the standards are improving. They are not perfect. There is no way they're perfect. There's a lot of things inside that football club what are changing, what will affect Paddington, will affect the players, will affect the coaches. So for me, I'm not naive to say we're in the best place, because we're not. We're in a good place, and may it continue, then I might be turning around and saying, you know what, regardless of all the problems, regardless of the standards, these players are getting down to work and they're overcoming it. But hey, at this moment, no.
I think you've got to expect a higher than an 8th place finish, especially when we're only playing 1 game a week.
I would listen after the Arsenal game.
That's changing your mind a little bit.
No. After the Arsenal game, right? You're thinking, yeah, 1 game a week. Yeah, it's 1 game, and it looked good. The game looked good, and the future looked good, and then it just sort of went away. And then people were complaining. You go back a few weeks ago, go back a month, okay, before the international break. Everyone's going 1 game a week and all that. This is garbage. They've got more time on the pitch. How often did we hear that Ruben Amorim saying, I've got more time, I want more time, it'll be fine and all that. And then the football results weren't coming. The performances weren't coming. Yes, it's looking good now. Everything is falling into place. The players are working. We're getting the results. 1 game a week. Yes, it's looking good. But I do know down the line things will come to take our legs from underneath us. It always happens. No matter how good you are.
I know, but you can't then be looking on the past and thinking, well, that incident happened that season and that took our legs from underneath us. I want you to look at what we're actually doing right now.
Going to win the league then.
And you're looking at the actual feel-good factor that I keep on saying, not just amongst the Webby and O'Neill community, not amongst me and you, but looking at them players, the way they're celebrating together after they're getting these results that they have done in October.
I see absolutely nothing wrong with the football I'm seeing, with these players, the way they're committed, the way they turn things around, the way Ruben Amorim, the coaches, the club is turned around. I see absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I go back to it. It's 9 games. It's early doors. This is a stop-start season. Once we get over the international break, then we can see United go on a run. Let's see all the other teams. I do believe some of these football teams have been affected by the break, and they're going to be affected by the next international break. So, come Christmas, if we're right up there, there is no reason why we shouldn't qualify for Europe and get up there. I just don't see that. But at this moment, everything's great. Everything's going well. I'm supporting it. I'm right behind it. Listen, I'm always optimistic. You know that out there. Sometimes over-optimistic. And mainly, a lot of people call me deluded at times. But hey, at the moment, we're on the deluded train. And I'm happy with it.
Choo-choo. And you're looking at round about Christmas as well. You know, the player that's in form, probably one of our best players right now, Brian and Mbumo. You've got Ahmad as well, their partnership. Plus Mazraoui, they will go to the AFCON as well. So it's going to be interesting how the manager actually navigates that and what players he puts into the team to replace them while they're away.
Well, that's the thing. We've gone on and people out there have been talking about it with us. I see it reported, and now other people are going on about the Mbumo Ahmad partnership. But we were talking about it months ago, how that will get better, and it is getting better. But then that's going to disappear. So what's the partnership? How's the football going to go? Will that disrupt United? So you just don't know how it's going to go. But if they keep getting the results right up to Christmas, when they leave for the AFCON Cup, you just don't know what's going to happen. It might just carry on. And the thing is, if we keep winning, okay, the fear factor will come for teams coming here. When have we been able to say that about teams? We've won 4 games on the trot now at Old Trafford. Now, if you look back to last year, everyone was just coming and turning us over. Now, you get that fear factor back here at Old Trafford and start picking up results away from home, right? People will dread coming here. They will not be playing that open style attacking where they get through our midfield and everything, because the system here is working at Manchester United. The players are working. They're all working together. So the fear factor, teams coming here, that can play in. Get these 2 wins. Anyone we go to play away from home will think, do you know what? We might be in trouble here. Manchester United are back, because they're certainly back at the moment at Old Trafford, and teams are worrying.
Just going to go into the chat. Melvin, bit of food for thought here for everyone else out there in the community. Come on, Son. Excuse me. Come on, Son. We potentially have the best strike front three in the Premier League. Change my mind. So you're looking at Sesko and Mbumo and Cunha. There's no 2 ways about it. It's dynamite at the moment. Everyone's working together, and them players up front are benefiting from the work, what's going on behind as well. So it's not just their capabilities, it's the capabilities of the team behind who are providing, who aren't letting them down, where they all work together. Cunha and Mbumo get space, Ahmad gets space, because people are all working together. But it is an excellent forward line we've got at the moment. It's a change from last year. It does look, especially after that Brighton game, as though this team now is clicking, where it looks like it's actually being coached, and maybe the actual fruits of what happened in the summertime in pre-season is starting to come true now, and what we're actually seeing. Because I think someone who's gone a little bit unnoticed, especially after that Brighton game, was Luke Shaw. I mean, the amount of times we've seen that lad playing in midfield as an actual central midfielder, I mean, it helped massively as well, pushing further forward for Casemiro's deflected goal as well, getting the ball back.
I think everyone's improved. Yes, we can highlight Luke Shaw. It's great to highlight Luke Shaw because he's been so poor in some certain games, and he has been. The media and fans have really gone at him in 1 or 2 games, especially the City game. But they've all improved in attitude, in everything. But I look round and you say that being coached better, they're working better and all that. But they've been doing that since day one against Arsenal. They were coached better. They were playing better. They were working together. There was no criticism of any players that game. So they had it in them. It's just that it wasn't going right.
Do you get the feeling as well, just going back to the Brentford game, that we've still always got that type of performance and type of result still in us? I know Brentford went and beat Liverpool over the last weekend. You know, some out there will say, you know, they've exceeded their expectations on what they thought at the start of the season with Brentford, especially with that new manager. But for me, that was a real low point for me. I know the Grimsby game, but the Brentford game, it's because maybe I had that much optimism going into the game that we would actually get the 3 points. And then I just felt really let down that day.
Yeah, we was all let down that day. The mentality was absolutely terrible. I don't see that fragility with the mentality going out. What you seen last year, if you go back to it, is they were going out like they weren't together. Next thing you know, we're conceding early goals and then start of a second half. And, you know, it's like, what's going on here? Next thing you know, we're conceding a goal. So, yeah, one half totally different than the second half sometimes. It was baffling because of the mentality. But the mentality seems to be there. I think everyone, I've seen lots of comments about the mentality of the club, how they've all got together and they're all on the same page. But everything around the club, you look at it, the finances, the cost cutting, the noise on the stadium and everything, all this noise, I see, may affect the players and personnel inside Manchester United as we go along. So they've got that to contend with, and it will come, and it does affect players. But the mentality, it is a lot better. There's no two ways about it. Can they keep that mentality going? Well, we'll soon find out.
Bruno Fernandes as well, that assist, what he got for the Maguire goal. And then if you've seen the 4th goal we scored with Mbumo, the way Bruno was looking behind him, scanning to see which players are about, and the way he just dummied that ball to leave it for Mbumo. And you would say them 2 moments from Bruno are definitely world class.
I think when you look at Bruno, for instance, against Brighton, I thought he had one of his best games since he's been at Manchester United, to be honest with you, because he did a job, he did a captain's job, he created, he was, he wasn't all over the place, sort of ordering, dictating, waving his arms about. He seems to have changed his attitude and the way he performs on the pitch and gets on. I think the players quite understand his role in the job now, and he's got used to it. I think it's been very difficult for Bruno, so that's a good change, and that's good going forward, because I do think Bruno there had an excellent game against Brighton.
A lot of he's mentioning, about the European football. Some are saying the Europa League. Some also saying the Champions League. But what do you think the actual aim and the target is inside the club for Man United this season? Do you think it is Champions League football, which 5th place could possibly get us that this season? Or do you think it's European football and they're satisfied? I mean, Europa League football.
I think inside the club, their thoughts and desires changed week by week, to be honest with you. I think when they signed Kuna, Sesko and Mbumo, they were thinking Champions League. I think the manager was thinking Champions League. And I think after the pre-season, the way they seemed to gel together, everyone was thinking Champions League. 2 weeks, 3 weeks into the season, especially after the Fulham game, it was like, well, where we're going here? That didn't look right, that football. That was completely different than the Arsenal game, and people criticised lots of players with their attitude and performances. And Bruno, people were scathing on him, and quite rightly so, because his mentality that game was very, very poor. But I think the ups and downs have calmed down now inside the club and everyone's expectations. I think realistically, if we go on this run, now we expect beat Brighton, beat Forest, beat Tottenham. That's what we said 10 days ago. That's what we was expecting after that Liverpool game. There's 9 points there. There's 9 points. 7 points isn't a disaster. So what will change? Well, what will change everybody's expectations that there is a Champions League place. And I do believe once we come back from that international break and we've got another 6 points in our bag, Champions League place should be an aim.
Just going back to the chat earlier on, Fred Cranham, Fred the Red has gifted 5 memberships.
Thank you.
Absolute legend, mate. 5 people have been gifted their memberships. A big thank you to Fred. Mr. Steele says, massive upgrade, definitely top shelf right now, but we need Sesko and Cunha to actually get more on the goal sheet and assists and get close to Mbeumo. But I think...
No, Mbeumo's on the other side. Listen, they're playing well. The team's playing well. They're all gelling, and it's a team game. Cunha got his first goal. Can't argue with that. He's had a couple of goals, Sesko. And once Sesko gets in a rhythm and players sort of bring him more into the game, I think you'll see more from them. But I wouldn't worry who's scoring the goals. So long as we get the goals, this is a team game, and they're all playing for each other and working hard. And I think goals will come from everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, Sesko was involved in setting up Mbeumo's first goal. Could have had a goal himself just before half-time in the first half against Brighton, but I've said it consistently, to be fair. Even against Brentford when we got beat, I like his movement. It's not just all like running in straight lines. He's actually making diagonal runs, something to make the defenders think about it. And also at the same time, then, he's actually creating space for the likes of Cunha and Mbeumo as well. So like you're saying, he's a team player.
Yeah, he's a team player. He's a footballer. And a good footballer, and the opportunities at the moment are few and far between, but they will get better and more chances will come along for him.
Yeah, a lot of you still getting involved in the chat. People mentioning Sesko, Cunha and Mbeumo as well. Are you liking what you're seeing, though, from the back three?
I'm liking what I see with everything, absolutely everything. And I looked at that Brighton game and I thought to myself, this is a football team. They're all playing football. But I have to go back, and this is where I'm not deluding myself. This isn't the strongest squad. It certainly isn't the strongest squad. And I do think it will have dips. There's no two ways about it. And like I say, the men in suits have a lot to prove to get this club right, and this club won't get right straight away. But one thing what's happening is them players are working really, really hard to put it right. All the woes and all the carnage they've created for us fans, especially last season.
I mean, if Casemiro was 5 years younger and he could carry on that same level of intensity, what he does for the first 50 or 60 minutes and last 90 minutes, you'd have a lot more positivity of where possibly United could finish at the end of the season, because it's a huge position what I think we do need filling in the summertime, that number 6 role.
Listen, we've got a few places what need filling, but I look at Casemiro, I look at Shaw, I look at Harry Maguire, for instance, just them 3 players, never mind anyone else. They could break down at any minute. They could break down at any minute. Casemiro hasn't got the legs. Are you really saying that Casemiro can start every game for a full season and do that amount of running and keep it up? I don't think so, but that's my opinion. Now, I look at Luke Shaw. There's always a danger with him. Harry Maguire tells you himself that his body can't take it. And then you have to go to the man who Ruben Amorim thinks is going to be in this team, but can't get him in yet. And that's Mason Mount, another man with an injury record. So if 2-3 of them players over the next few weeks or a month go down with injuries and that, and you say to yourself, hang on a minute, who's replacing them? It's not a strong squad. It's not a big squad.
Good to come back onto your comment about Casemiro. I do believe he can start every game this season for Manchester United if fit, especially if he's only playing the first 60 minutes of every game, 60 to 65. It's just then that concerns me. A little bit of a drop-off then that I do see when the starting 11 start being changed around that time in the game.
Listen, you always say this, play your best team. We're playing 1 game a week. Play your best team. Play your best team. He hasn't got the legs. He will not start every game.
But he's performing better than what I got this season. So if you're playing your best team, he starts the following week.
I don't think he will start every game because fatigue will come there. Yes, good player. We all know that, right? But he hasn't got the legs. And I do think he will wilt at some point and will need a rest. the international games and that. He played 2 international games, 90 minutes, and did excellent. It will take its toll at some point. Age does catch you up on that pitch, and your legs do go, and he hasn't got the pace. And we all know with Casemiro, we all know, there's no ifs, no buts, right? To get into that top 4, top 5, whatever it is, will need Casemiro because he's performing well. But he gets sent off. He dives into tackles. He's not going to get that out of his game. And we'll see things like that happen when he's under pressure.
Nikos says, De Ligt is player of the season. He's been rock solid.
Well, I'm made up someone's brought up De Ligt because me and Kieran, we've been on De Ligt from the moment he's come here at Manchester United. We've always thought he was a good player and he was getting better, and we've always pointed it out, giving man of the match once or twice. But I think he's an excellent player. But I do believe he has to be in the centre. Yes, he's played on the right. Good game. Then he's had a bad game there. But he has to be in the centre, and Yoro has to be to his right. But for me, De Ligt, outstanding, brings confidence, and he does get that tackle. And his awareness and his covering tackles are perfect. And he's getting better and better, just like the team is.
I still do believe, though, and have that feeling, and some of you out there might disagree, but if Bruno's on top of his game, so's the rest of this team. When Bruno's not on the top of his game, the team aren't themselves. And I'm basing that just off what you're seeing against Fulham away, missing that penalty. Then you go to Brentford away, he missed the penalty. And you've seen how the team never recovered after that. And in particular, Bruno himself in them 2 moments. And over the last couple of games against Brighton and Liverpool, I think he's been world class in some of the stuff that he's done. And you've seen that then with the rest of the team, and he's the captain.
Yeah, but that's now. That's now. Bruno, 2 years, game after game after game. Bruno, top of his game. Lots of people have been critical of him. Okay, many reasons. Yes, it's all about now what we're looking at. That's great. Everything's great on that pitch. No one can argue with what's on that pitch. But you can't take away the past, and you can't take away the worry of the future. Will this effort, like we're going on about Casemiro, will some of the players, will their performances drop off? I think they will. I think it's inevitable. But for me, Bruno, I just said it before, thought he had his best game in the last couple of years against Brighton. Okay. But will it continue?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see as well, like with the fixtures that we've got coming up against Forest and Spurs. Do you think it's maybe too early for him to maybe rotate with Kobbie Mainoo, or bring him off at roughly around that 60 to 70 minute mark to get Mainoo 20 or 30 minutes of a game?
I look at the team, and I think the team, what we've seen the last couple of games, is the team what's going to start. That's the basics. There's going to be basic 9, 10 players what are going to be picked for the next 2 games, what have already played, what have already started the game, and then the international break comes up, and let's see where we are. Obviously, injuries and that can just change things. But for me, I think this team is on a roll, and I mean on a roll. And based on this form, if this continued, I have no arguments, and I'll say it again, that this team will get better and better and will qualify for Europe, where we should be. But the world isn't that easy. Football's not that easy.
Sorry, did you just say that you think they will qualify for Europe now?
I said...
Apologies to everyone out there, because I was just going through the live chat.
I said,
just making sure
if this form continues, if this form continues, there is no reason why we shouldn't be in the top 4. But I'm not that naive, right, that this form will continue. There will be a drop-off. That's my worry. And I think carnage will turn up somewhere. It always does. It's Manchester United. But at the moment, everything's hunky-dory.
I don't see why we can't continue this form, especially up until Christmas, to be honest with you. And I'm just hoping that our form at the start of the season, with 2 or 3 of the games, were our drop-off. 1 game a week, that should feel, well, keep the squad fit and fresh, for the following game. And any 1 or 2 injuries that we do suffer, we have got some players in there now who all look like they seem that they're together and they're up for the fight. So for me, I'm really positive about it, and that feel-good factor is back. with me, where I think around about Christmas as well, you do then start to get a feel of what the table will look like towards the second half of the season, going into the end of the Premier League campaign as well, because the points gap will start opening up amongst teams there where it feels a little bit tight at the moment.
Listen, there's no two ways about it. The feel-good factor's there for everybody. And what you want to see is this to continue right up to Christmas. But when it comes to Christmas, we've already said Mbeumo and Ahmad, they won't be here. They'll be gone. Okay? And then you look at the injury list, you look at what's on the bench and what's available to come on. Will things have to change? Will the style have to change? So you just got to hope that we can continue this form. And it's great form. There's no two ways about it. I speak to people outside here, okay? I've been speaking to them now for 3 days. Big smiles on the faces. Everyone's happy. Everyone's talking about Europe. There's no way we won't get Europe, people are saying. And the smile on the face, they've not had it for years. So the expectations are there. But the reality is, come Christmas, it will change. All we've got to hope for, right, is that this form continues and this winning run continues, and then that this ground goes back to what it was, a fear factor for teams to come to. And teams, when we play them away, worry about Manchester United coming, because no one has worried about Manchester United. They've been waiting to play Manchester United because they've been so easy to play against and beat. And I go back to this one. Even the Grimsby manager the other month knew how to beat Manchester United. So there you are. That's how bad it was. So for now, it's fantastic. I'm still sticking with 8th. I'm not flip-flopping.
Let's see at Christmas. Ansel, thanks for your super chat, mate. De Ligt will be our captain after Bruno. End of. We did actually do a video. I think we titled it something like De Leader, because we do believe he will be a future Manchester United captain. But then when we was talking about something yesterday about that leadership group inside the dressing room that Ruben Amarin's chosen, he's not a part of that. Does that change your mind potentially if he is a future captain on Manchester United? Because the likes of Martinez, Maguire, Bruno, even Delo is in there with Tom Eaton.
Listen, if Martinez regains his fitness, keeps a steady place, keeps a regular place, shall I say, going forward, if anything was to happen to Bruno in the summer, if he leaves or when he leaves, and Martinez is still there, I do believe Martinez is the shoe-in for the next captain. De Ligt, if he was given the captaincy, fine, I wouldn't argue with it, because I think he's exceptional, and he does work that back line, and he works it exceptional. He's been showing leadership qualities, so if he got it, fine. But for me, Martinez is the next captain in line.
Yeah, he just looks like one of them players who's not afraid to stick his head in where it might hurt and probably lose a couple of teeth. He just loves to tackle, that lad. Life of Paul says, the new signings have transformed the confidence of the entire squad. There's a confidence that I haven't witnessed in years.
Oh, I think there's a lot of reasons why there's a confidence. We said the other day, the Jim Ratcliffe talking about Ruben Amarin having 3 years. I think that sort of like
stability
brought stability to the club. I think there's a lot of things, and we have heard lots of stories about the players really liking and getting on with Ruben Amarin, and getting the deadwood out. That was a major factor. And we did say yesterday, for instance, on the video, we were talking about the leaks and everything else like that. There's none of that. And having a leadership team inside there, everyone's talking to each other, everyone's responding. We never seen that, and we never heard stories of how the players were all bonding last year. They all seem to be in 2s and 3s or on their own inside the club.
Sorry, it's having a good read of what everyone's saying in the live chat. Some top comments in there, to be fair. People getting involved now on the Martinez shout for captain. Some people also keeping with De Ligt. Red Olsen says Mount has been good this season when he's been fit, and you've got a great point there, mate. I agree with it. But again, when fit.
Yeah, but I turned round before the Brighton game, and I said, Harry Maguire, Mason Mount won't be playing, will not be playing. Yes.
What do you mean not be playing?
Well, Ruben Amarin said that they've had like a little knock I think.
All right.
I think Mason Mount was always going to be put on the bench, and Harry Maguire given a rest. Like I say to you, Harry Maguire has complained that his body isn't up to it. Doesn't matter if it's one game a week. So for me, I always thought Mason Mount was on the bench. I don't think he was injured, and I don't think he's really been injured this year, but he has played well. I just said at the beginning of the season, the one player, and I've said it a few times now, so I'm going to remind you, the one player who is going to struggle to get in this team, unfortunately, is Mason Mount. And we have seen him play good football. And I'm not really seeing anyone criticise him, because there's nothing to criticise him for. His work rate and everything, and how he adapts to what position he's playing in has been excellent this year. But I think he is the one what's going to struggle to get a place until Christmas time.
Yeah, so you think the best front three then is Sesko, Cunha and Mbeumo? Not Mason Mount in there, where I think there's...
No, I'm not saying. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying he struggles to get in. The manager, not me. The manager struggles to get him in the side. It's the manager what struggles to get him in the side, not me. I think if he was on the pitch, no matter what, he's not going to let you down. He's playing well. He's a good player. He works well in the team. So for me, it's a matter of the manager sort of working game by game and saying, like he did at Liverpool, I'll drop Sesko. Now, he might do that again. Okay?
It's good options to have.
It's tactics. It's tactics. And that's why you like a good squad.
Daz Salford says we are winning the double. Choo-choo.
Well, wouldn't that be great?
A lot of people mentioning Lammens as well, the goalkeeper, about how he's brought a calmness back to not just the back three, but the defensive side of the team as well.
Well, it's just having a goalkeeper. I nearly fell off my chair when I was thinking about it the other day, talking on video here, saying, I'm just so relaxed, I can't believe it. It's just a goalkeeper.
Yeah, who can do the basics.
Just to say,
box.
Yeah, just to say the word, we've got a goalkeeper. So for me, yeah, having a goalkeeper in there gives me confidence and gives that team confidence. And you can see it. But what a coincidence. He starts a game and look at the football, Sunderland, Liverpool, Brighton. We're on fire.
Let us know if you've changed your predictions on what you had at the start of the season, and if they've changed right now on where we actually will finish come the end. You're sticking with 8th. I'm still sticking with, that 10 games, which is now 11 games, which have moved the goalpost slightly up until that international break with Tottenham. But right now, I've seen improvement based on what I've seen last season. And let's hope that continues and that deluded train continues. Choo-choo. All the way until the top 4 or even 5 places if it gets you Champions League football.
Yeah, well, I'm not flip-flopping. I've given me reasons why I'm sticking with 8, and I think it's a reasonable debate what I've given you out there. Yes, there's been some good comments coming in. Yes, Champions League football. But the comments I don't understand is how people cannot see that Ruben Amorim is turning this squad round and everyone is working for him, and people are still screaming Ruben Amorim out. Yes, there was doubt from everybody that he would survive, that the pressure would get to the owners and they would remove him. But luckily, they've come out, they've backed him, and everything seems to be hunky-dory again. So for me, calling for Ruben Amorim, I think that's a bad move.
Yeah, you've got to give credit where it's due, especially, some of the games that we got beat at the start of the season and the way it has turned around now. Just to see a smile on his face on match days and smiles on the players' faces. But with the results that we've got this month in October, now pressure comes and expectation of us winning the next game against Forest and then the game after that against Tottenham. But if they can keep putting in performances like we've seen this month, I don't see no reason why we can't get them 6 points out of the next 2.
Pressure comes every game. It's expected. It's Manchester United. Unfortunately, this squad and prior squads have just not stood up to the pressure. They've not stood up to what it is to play for the badge. But I just see a completely different thing now. So anything's possible. And like I say, results change everything. So all we need now is Forest, Spurs away, get them results, win them games. And I think we could go to the moon.
Go to the moon. Why not? For the first time. Nikos P says we're going to finish 4th. Gert says 7th. Wayne Bell says 4th. Why not? And I knew this one was going to come. something lad, can't pronounce it, my mate, but he thinks we're going to finish first and win it. Gert says it has to be better than last season. Totally agree there, mate. Dan Fenton thinks top 4. Nikos come back and said predicted 4th, and I'm sticking with it. Just like to thank you all for joining us today, getting involved with a mix of opinions. It's been really interesting to read a lot of them today, which is really good. The positivity is there. The feel-good factor is back. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow with another live video. So come and get involved, get that notification on, help support us by smashing that like button. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.